it's Dave from Fitness Technology. I'm finally doing my first video for you guys on how to maintain and do some repairs on your elliptical. Basically, we're getting ready to go into the cold season. Activity really increases on exercise equipment during this season, and there are a couple of basic things that you can do yourself that really kind of help the machine out. All right, very limited amount of tools that's going to be needed for that. A couple different types of lubricant. First thing we're going to use is this silicone super lube. You need a 13-inch millimeter and a 13-inch millimeter socket or half-inch. Either one will kind of fit for what we're going to do. All right. So the first thing we're going to need to do is remove this cover. All right. Now this cover has 3 screws in it. I cheated and already removed 2. So you will have to remove the other 2. All right. Next thing is we're going to have to use our 13 or half-inch. I'm just going to loosen this up here. Now, as you can see, this elliptical has bearings in it. So bearings really aren't as important to lubricate as if it only had bushings in it. Bearings are kind of self-lubricated in the bearing itself. But it's still a good idea because you have to get to this arm here anyway. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this one down here. Right from there. Try and not lose this little tube. This little tube's important, all right? So, we're just going to pull this back here like this, or we can just completely remove it. All right? So, take our lubricant. Not going to go too crazy. Again, this particular one is bearing loaded. So it's really just to make it slide on easier and maybe make it react a little smoother. But in general, not too much really. It's this that we're really trying to get to, but you got to take that off to get to it. So we're going to remove this cover here. Only 1 screw on this one. So that will be done as is. Put that over here. Same size socket. Should use my impact on this, would speed it up a lot. But I don't know how many people have impact, so make this a little more realistic in the time frame. So this is really what we're trying to lubricate. This is a bushing. A bearing is self-contained like this. This bushing here wears as this thing spins around, and this is an active pivot point. A lot of companies use it. No point discussing the difference in that because that is what it is, all right? So this is what we want to lubricate right here. We're going to get our super lube back out. Lubricate this a little more heavily than the other piece because it is not bearing loaded, it is bushing loaded. And bushings wear down through friction and time and activity. So the more you're on it, the more you're wearing that down. But you want to be on it because it's healthy and good for you. Alright? So then we're going to put this back on just like that. Good thing that went on easy, not to embarrass me. Alright, so now for a little minor area, but that's real important, that causes a lot of noises with ellipticals. This little pivot point right here on this tie rod end, as sweat comes down, sweat gets inside of here, and this joint gets very stiff. This one's actually super good, but it's the one I have to use as an example for you. So, you want to get lubricant all up inside of here. This is a really big sweat point for anyone that uses any elliptical with this type of design. Rear activated, which is about 90% of them out there. So that's an important thing to do. I don't like getting dirty, so I'm going to clean everything off. So we're going to stick this little tube back inside of here. Smoosh that around, get some lubricant around with that. Bring this over to here like this. Run this through here like this. Here like this. Alright. Of course, we would go to retighten that back up, but we're not going to do that yet because we're still doing everything just as examples. So we get this loosely on here like this. This washer is wrong. That's not good. It'll work for the example. So we're going to run this through here. Tighten this down like this. Just to speed things up. Alright, so then the cover would go back on here. Covers would go back on here. This is going to get tightened up. But before we do all that, I wanted to go over one other area that I like to keep clean during the winter months when you get a lot of activity running up and down these rails right here. This actually looks pretty good. This is a used machine I just got in, but it looks like it's in pretty good shape. So we're just going to use a little polish, a little chrome cleaner. Get these edges a little clean. Right here, of course, do the same thing to the other side. But for today, we're just going to show you one side. See if we can get that a little better. So you can work on it harder if you want, but that's actually pretty good. So this is a different type of lubricant. This lubricant actually comes from the manufacturer. You could probably get away with a Vaseline or some other type of jelly on here. The problem when you take that chance, it can cause little noises. This I know for sure doesn't make any strange little noises. So we're going to stick with the manufacturer stuff. You get little friction sounds when you use different type of materials. Pretty simple. Give this a little rub. Clean it up a little bit. Don't need a ton of it on it. Okay. Wipe my hands off. Told you I don't like getting dirty. Come back over here. So that's really all there is to the rear of that. Some models, this model doesn't have it. Has a little cover on the back, but it's too little simple to get 2 screws. We just take that out and you can see expose the wheels just to see if there's any damage or anything. But these look pretty close to new, pretty clean. Retighten that up, tighten that up. You would, I'm not going to go through all that, but you put your covers back on, just like so. Run your screw into there. This cover would go back on, just like that. I actually plan on taking this machine back apart and doing some more videos on the inside of it. So I'm not going to reinstall the covers for you today. Pretty simple to do, not too hard to figure out. Don't forget to tighten everything back up when you go to tighten it. The key point of it is you're trying to get lubricant up inside right here. This is the main area that you want to lubricate. These are good to lubricate. This is important to lubricate. This is important to lubricate. But the main goal is to get to this right here and keep this well lubricated right here. All right? So that's my first video on the E25, E35, E55. All of them are kind of the same configuration in that. Thank you so much for your time, and I have some other videos coming out. Thank you very much.